Hi, class. Here we are at week 4. Now, week 4 is going to be the week when you select the form of your prospectus. Like I said, this might be a case study. It might be a research question. It might be a policy proposal or a cost benefit analysis or a process evaluation. There's all sorts of forms um, that your uh, capstone project might take, and your prospectus is going to have to identify which of these forms you're going to use. So you already ran into Bardak and Patashnik, and we talked about the Eightfold Path, and we talked about Anderson, and we talked some about the difference between evaluation and proposal, and we talked some uh, about some methods you can use for public policy proposals and some process evaluations. But we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the other choices you might take on this week. And so your readings are going to be a little bit dense again. You're going to have a couple readings from R.K. Yin on case studies. You're going to have a reading from Verdung on process evaluations. You're going to have the federal government standard procedures from cost benefit analysis. I'm going to ask you to read, the first 50 pages there. And then I'm going to ask you to recall week 2 in your Bardak and Patashnik and your Eightfold Path and all these other forms, so that you can see all of these forms are going to require you to structure the next week, which is going to be methods and data, a little bit differently. So, it's a good time to talk about the form you want to use. It's a good time to, really hash it out in the discussion section. And if you get into this and you write it up and you get a little bit further and you decide, boy, this just isn't working for me, that's okay. It's a prospectus time. There's still a little bit of time now to shift it. But we're getting down to the point where you're going to have to start nailing down the specifics of this proposal because we're barreling forward through this course. We're already at the halfway point, and soon enough, you're going to find yourself in the capstone course. And at that point, it's going to be a little late to start shifting all these big pieces. So there's a discussion section this week, but there's also 2 other assignments due. One is very simple. It's a capstone advisor form. I would get on that sooner rather than later. Select a capstone advisor. It can be anyone you'd like to ask. They're going to have to agree, though. So you might want to talk to Dr. Lay. You might want to talk to Dr. Cox or Dr. Sweeting. You might want to talk to um, Sky Liddell or Jackie Kelly or even me, Dan Carrick. You talk to any one of us or anyone else you've had that you think would make a good advisor for your capstone project, and get them to sign off on it. And now I have just a little bit of a formal signature and date. Give your project a title, and make sure we know who's doing what and what section you're going up for your capstone on, so that we know what we need from you by when. Um, the second thing you're going to have to upload is a project form and a description. And in that one, you're going to have to choose the form, like we just discussed, of your capstone project, and that's going to help motivate the methods and data you choose next week. So uh, there's a fair amount of reading and a lot of thinking and a few big decisions to make this week, but there's not a heck of a lot of writing this week. I think you're going to find 2 pages max, double space is all you're going to end up actually writing. What you're really going to have to do is think about who do you want to be your faculty advisor if you don't have one yet. What form do you want your prospectus to take if you don't know yet, your capstone project to take if you don't know yet? And spend some time really mulling it over and trying to come up with something you think is one, doable in the time allotted with how much bandwidth you have and your knowledge and skills and capabilities, and 2, interesting, right, and useful to answer the problem statement or research question you have. So with that in mind, we will talk again next week at week 5, and I'll see you there.